to Hollywood. That's gooey valley, hooly Hollywood, where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic with just a good-looking pan.
We have a cast of colourful characters who work in front of and behind the camera to make a movie. A movie that has the power to transport us into the future or show us life as it might once have been. Hollywood knows how to emotionally connect with an audience. This is what speakers have to do.
And a gentleman in the fourth row puts his hand up and said, "You're quoting my competitor, why aren't you quoting me?" To which, of course, I said, "Well, who the heck are you?" And that's when I met and started becoming friendly with Michael Hauge, who calls the opening of a movie the seduction scene.
And this is a story about my friend Paul. Now, Paul and I are such old friends that we both go back to the beginning of our careers in Hollywood. In fact, the first full-time job I had in Hollywood as what is known as a development director working for a producer, finding material. The first job I ever had and the first deal I ever set up in that job was the first dollar that Paul ever made as a screenwriter. He had been waiting tables. His lifelong dream had been to be a screenwriter. That was the beginning. He went on to have a very successful career as a screenwriter. He sold a number of screenplays. He became the head writer for a TV series and a producer for another episodic series. And for many years, he had what many, many people who come to Hollywood dream of, a good, solid career as a screenwriter. And then something happened. As it often does in Hollywood, the bottom fell out. And all at once, seemingly, he couldn't get meetings like he used to. His agent was doing nothing for him, so he fired his agent and no one else wanted to take over as his agent, so now he had no agents. He couldn't even get meetings, let alone sell anything, where he used to be successful. And Paul is a man who was a single father raising two young girls. He went through all of his savings. They had to give up the place they lived. And when I finally saw him and heard about what was going on, he and his daughters were living in his brother's studio guest house, the three of them in this one-room guest house, trying to get by. And when I saw Paul and he told me this, he said, "You know, I don't know what to do." And he said, "I have been ready to just give up, to just throw in the towel and give up on my dreams, and I don't even know where to turn." And he said, "And I've just been beside myself and completely depressed." And then he said, "I thought to myself, you know, if this were a movie, this is the very thing I'd go to the movie to see. This is what makes a movie great. It's when the hero is up against insurmountable obstacles and they don't know how they're going to succeed, but somehow they do." And he says, "So the only thing I know is this. Whatever it is that's going to happen, I can't leave the theater now. I've got to find out how this is going to end." And within 2 weeks of telling me that, he made a 6-figure deal selling one of his screenplays, and he became a professor of screenwriting at one of the schools in Southern California. And the reason I want to tell you this story or share this is, and the final thought I'd like to leave you with is, we all encounter those times. You have and you will always encounter those times when everything falls apart, when it seems like the things you want to do most, you're getting nowhere, when you feel like the things you could grasp onto are gone. And I would just suggest that the next time that happens, the next time you're discouraged, the next time you're worried that it just isn't worth another step to try and achieve your goal as a speaker or an executive or whatever it might be, the next time you're up against it like that, whatever you do, don't leave the theater. because this is just when your movie is getting good. Thank you very much.
Michael Hauge, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
Michael Hauge.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Patricia. Thank you.